Right, good morning. My name is Jason Ishii, Chairperson of the Authority. I'd like to call to order the December 6, 2023 public hearing of the Hawaii Community Development Authority. And the time is now 9:00 a.m.
Thank you, Chair. The Hawaii Community Development Authority is holding today's public hearing both virtually on Zoom and in person. The Zoom link details were included in the public hearing notice. Therefore, members of the public are welcome to join us on Zoom or at the physical meeting site at the American Brewery Building, 547 Queen Street, second floor boardroom, Honolulu, Hawaii, 96813. The HCDA communication staff is hosting the Zoom portion of this hearing. Once this public hearing begins, everyone will be muted for clear audio. Board members, if you have any comments or questions, please unmute yourselves to speak. It is important that all individuals clearly state their name each time prior to speaking. This is a public, in-person, virtual public hearing, so to prevent any distractions, if you are not attending virtually and you're not a board member, staff member, or HCDA's Attorney General, please turn off your video during the meeting. If you are providing verbal testimony, your name will be called accordingly. If you are attending in person, when your name is called, please come to the front of the room. And if you're attending virtually, please turn your video on and only while providing your testimony. In either case, please clearly state your name and affiliation and proceed with your testimony. Oral testimony may be limited to 3 minutes at the discretion of the presiding officer and will be accepted only on matters directly related to the public hearing subject. If the authority's connection for the remote meeting is lost, the hearing will be recessed until the connection is restored. If the connection cannot be restored within 30 minutes, the hearing will be reconvened Thursday, December 7th, 2023 at 9 a.m. at the same physical location and virtual Zoom link as today's hearing. Thank you. Chair.
Let the record reflect the following Kaka'ako members are present. Vice Chair Higa.
Present.
Secretary Apo. Member Apo? No. Member Miranda Johnson.
Present.
Member Anderson.
Present.
Member Hirai. Member Evans.
Present.
Member Sakura.
Present.
Individuals from the public who have requested to provide verbal public testimony on a specific agenda item are on standby and will be permitted to provide testimony respectively. Today's public hearing is being convened under the provisions of Chapter 15-23 Makai Area Rules and 15-219 Rules of Practice and Procedure, Hawaii Administrative Rules, HAR, and Sections 1-28.5, 91-3, 92-41, and 2-6E 5.6 Hawaii Revised Statutes, HRS, to consider the following matter: amendment and completion of draft HAR Chapter 15-23 relating to the Kaka'ako Makai Area Plan and Rules. The proposed amendments were presented at the November 1st, 2023 public hearing. Legal notice. A public hearing notice was published in the Honolulu Star Advertiser, Maui News, the Garden Isle, Hawaii Tribune Herald, and West Hawaii Today on Friday, September 29, 2023. The notice was also sent to HCDA's email list and posted on HCDA's website. Procedures for the hearing. Let me briefly explain our procedures for today's public hearing. First, HCDA staff will present this report. Following that presentation, board members will have an opportunity to ask questions or provide comments. Finally, we'll take public testimony in the order that individuals have signed up. Individual comments may be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Only members of the authority will be permitted to ask questions of the public. Since each authority member has or will be given a copy of any written testimony that you have provided, please refrain from reading your written testimony and instead summarize your comments in the time that you have available. When you are called, the communication staff will unmute your mic clearly state your name and any organization that you are affiliated with. I'll be acting as the presiding officer for this hearing. Are there any questions to these procedures? Not, we will now begin our proceedings. ACDA's Director and Planning Development, Brian Tam, will now present the staff's report. Brian?
Good morning, Chair Shi and board members. Morning. Again, thank you very much for consideration of the proposed amendments to the Makai area plan and rules. I'll summarize the actions just briefly. Again, the Makai area rules was Title 15, Chapter 23 was enacted in November 2005, and in 2006 Act 317 did ban residential development in the Makai area. Since then, again, there was the 2011 Kakako Makai Conceptual Master Plan, and that was completed. Since the just summary again, the proposed amendments to the Makai plan. Again, they are intending to reflect a ban on residential development. We're simplifying the land use table. We are maintaining allowable building heights and massings in line with the 2005 plan and rules. We are eliminating parking requirements to be in line with the city and county of Honolulu's parking policies. And then we are adding language to reflect Act 221, which requires us to consider climate change, sea level rise, and climate resilient development. Again, since the October 23 revised administrative draft, we did identify a number of further clarifications and refinements. So these are presented in a table, which is in your staff report. Again, they range from additional clarification on definitions, clarifying the role of the executive director, and just a lot of little minor typos and enhanced clarification. Again, thanks to the staff, including Ms. Janet Michelano for reviewing these. We also identified a number of other edits, just a few other clarifications that I wanted to also read into the record that were not part of the draft that we considered last week. Those included for section 1523-5, adding a definition of project. Section 1523-73, regarding public facilities dedication fees. We want to clarify that commensurate public dedication fees are allowed in lieu of land. So just be more explicit about that. For section 1523-80, regarding joint development. We do want to clarify that joint development should not involve both Malka and Makai. So we want to delete the last sentence in subpart A. Again, so joint development would either occur in Malka or Makai, but not together. And then also wanted to clarify the roles of the executive director relative to the authority. So typically it's the executive director that signs the joint development agreements, not the authority. And lastly, for section 1523-90 regarding minor changes, we wanted to add some examples of allowable minor changes and when public hearings or permit applications would be required. So just a few minor edits, clarifications. Subject to your questions, that concludes a summary of the staff report.
Members, do you have any questions on the edit or the staff report in general? If not, we'll go to public testimony. Thank you, Ryan. Since the notice of public hearing was published on Friday, September 29th, 2023, and written testimony invited, as of today, the HCDA has received 40 written testimonies. All 40 are in favor with none opposed. We will now take verbal public testimony. We will now hear testimony from the public. Speakers will be called upon to testify in the order in which they've signed up. Public testimony will be limited to 3 minutes each. Since each authority member has or will be given a copy of your written testimony that you might have provided, please refrain from reading the written testimony and instead summarize your comments at the time you have available. When you are called, please clearly state your name and any organization that you are representing. The first person signed up is Henry Curtis, Executive Director, Life of Land. Henry?
Aloha, can you hear me? Can you hear me? We're strongly in support of these rules. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Mahalo.
Thank you, Henry. The next speaker that signed up is Ron Iwami, Friends of Kewalo. Ron?
Mr. Wami.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I guess you know me, Ron Iwami from Friends of Chihuahuas. I think this is the first time I testified on this issue, so you know where I stand. But I wanted to take this time to thank the board and the staff for working hard on doing this because it's long overdue and we need to reflect the law into the rules. So thank you very much. And I think this is a big step toward keeping Kaka'ako Makai residential free. And I hope that in the future, we can work together to make it the best it can be for all of the people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wami.
Thank you.
Yeah. next, yeah.
The next speaker is Wayne Takamini.
Step up the meeting.
Hi, my name is Wayne Takamini. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I represent the Kaka'ako Makai Community Planning Advisory Council, where our acronym name is CPAC. And then we created the conceptual master plan that was approved by the HCDA in 2011. It was a 5-year process, and we're just so thankful that we actually have it recorded into the rules, so people can look at it as a guide for development of Kaka'ako Makai. Once again, this is a community plan, and we really try to be inclusive of all of the people participating. We had realtors participate. We had also people proposing, residential in our plan, but as it worked out, some of these residential plans seem to be shifted down to the bottom, and things on the top were stuff like the promenade, where people like to see open spaces, and also extended parks, which we supposed to have extended parks, but it hasn't been extended quite yet, like the Marine Lab site by Kewalo Basin. Anyway, but we totally appreciate your including the Kaka'ako Makai conceptual master plan, and we're hoping that we can move on with our planning, advisory, and implementation is actually part of our directive. So we would like to stay included in the process going forward and try to give our insights on the master plan. But thank you so much for doing this, and we're very thankful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Takamini.
Is there anyone else present that would like to testify? Anyone else online? If not, we will now continue with deliberations and decision making. Members, please indicate yes or no to signify that you are prepared to deliberate. That the record reflect the following Kakako members are prepared to deliberate on the adoption of the amendments and compilation of HAR chapter 15-23 relating to the Kaka'ako Makai area plan and rules. Vice Chair Higa,
Ready?
Secretary Alpo, is he here? No, excused. Member Miranda Johnson,
Ready.
Member Anderson,
Ready.
did Member Harai join us? No, Member Harai is excused. Member Evans,
Ready.
Member Sakota,
Ready.
after reviewing the amendments of HAR chapter 15-20.
Chair too.
Oh, yeah.
Chair.
Go ahead.
Chair is yes.
I'm ready. After reviewing the amendments of HAR chapter 15-23 relating to the Kaka'ako Makai area plan and rules, if the board is ready to vote, is there a motion to adopt the amendments and compilation of Hawaii Administrative Rules, chapter 15-23 relating to the Kaka'ako Makai area plan and rules, subject to any technical, non-substantive comments by the Attorney General and Legislative Reference Bureau?
Member
Do I
Higa so
have-
moves.
Do I have a second?
Second, Kevin Sakota.
It has been moved by Vice Chair Higa and second by Member Sakota. Members, is there any other further discussion on the above? Since there's no further discussion on the motion, I'll ask Ryan to take the roll call.
Chair Shi,
Yes?
Vice Chair Higa,
Yes.
Pripo is, excused. Member Miranda Johnson,
Yes.
Member Anderson,
Yes.
Member Farai is excused. Member Evans,
Aye.
Member Sakota.
Yes.
Okay, the vote is 6 ayes, no nays, and 2 excused, and no abstaining.
If there's no further public testimony, I will proceed with closing today's hearing. If there's no other comments or discussions, then on behalf of the HCDA authority members and its staff, I thank you for your attendance. This public hearing now stands adjourned and the time is 9:18. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We'll recess until 9:30 with the